Now let's use the foreign currency approach. The first step is identical to what the home currency approach needs to start with. Estimate cash flows in the foreign currency. They're all given. You don't need to do any math. Let's go to step number 2. Step number 2, we want to figure out the right discount rate to discount the cash flows in euros. For that, we use the International Fisher effect. So the International Fisher effect says the difference in the inflation rates, foreign minus domestic, equals the difference in the risk-free rates, foreign minus domestic. With Germany being our foreign country, we have H Germany minus H US equals R Germany minus R US. Now let's plug in the numbers that we know. R Germany is the risk-free rate in Germany, that's 8%. R US is the risk-free rate in the USA, that's 5%. Both numbers are given in our problem. So the difference between 8% and 5% is 3%, which means 3% should also be the difference between the inflation rates, the two H's, right? H Germany minus H USA. And so what we can now say is that because we will have a 3% higher inflation in Germany, right? The increase in the cost of living in Germany. The proper discount rate in Germany needs to be about 3% higher than in the United States. And so what this means for the discount rate in Germany is that it should be 3% higher than the discount rate in the United States. In the United States, the discount rate is 10%, which is given. We add 3% from the calculations we just did, and we get 13%. So 13% is the proper discount rate for similar investments in Germany. And that's what we use in step 3. So this is step 3. We discount the foreign currency cash flows using the foreign required return. The foreign currency cash flows were minus 10 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, and 10 million. In the financial calculator, those will be our cash flows, and then you would be entering 13% for the I, the interest rate. And you can do it all in one step. The answer you would get is 3.72 million euros. Let's check the math in the financial calculator. Let's clear everything. And I'm suspecting I might again get some rounding errors, but let's see. So let's turn it on, press the CF button. Cash flow 0 in euros, minus $10 million. Let's just drop all the 6 zeros. Just stick to 10, 2, 3, 5, and 10 again. 10, negative, enter. So we have just saved the cash flow for year 0 as negative 10. Press the down arrow key. Cash flow number 1 in the future, that's 2 million euros. I press 2, enter, down arrow key. What's the frequency of it? It's only once in a row. It's not repeated again in the next year, so I'm keeping the frequency at the default value of 1. The calculator uses 1 as the default. So I press the down arrow key. Cash flow number 2, that's 3 million euros. I press 3, enter, down and down again. Then for cash flow number 3, I need to enter 5 million euros, end of year 3. So I press 5, enter, down and down again. And cash flow number 4 in the future will be my last one. That's 10 million euros. 10, enter, down and down again. I'm done with entering my cash flows. Now I press the NPV button. It asks me for the I. That's where I put 13, enter, down, compute. Yeah, so it matches the number I said earlier, $3.72 million, euros, sorry. And this is actually important. It's in euros. It's not in dollars, not yet. The NPV in dollars will be last as the very last step, which is step number 4. Step number 4, convert NPV from euros into dollars using current spot exchange rate. That's given, 0.67 euros per dollar or $1.50 per euro. So the NPV in US dollars equals the NPV in euros, 3.72 million euros, divided by 0.67 euro per $1, which gives $5.58 million. Again, the conclusion is the project should be accepted. You could also do this last step using the other exchange rate version, $1.50 per euro. But in that case, you would need to take 3.72 million euros and multiply by $1.5 per euro. But that would also give you $5.58 million as the answer. Let's compare the two results from the two approaches. The home currency approach gave us the NPV of $5.41 million. The foreign currency approach gave us a very similar number, the NPV of $5.58 million. They're practically the same. Actually, they would be exactly the same if throughout all our steps for the two approaches we only used exact versions of all the important formulas rather than their approximate versions, such as, for example, the interest rate parity approach that we used in the home currency approach to find the, what did we use it for? We used it to find the expected exchange rates for years 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the future. So if we use the exact versions of those interest rate parity formulas, we would get also $5.58 million, just like with the foreign currency approach.